spillway here for the circle swale. And didn't breach it now, but I think it might have. We got water here going down. I only seen this overflowing really good once. That's a circle, goes all the way around, 180 feet in diameter. Coming back around here. You got little steps here to walk in. I'm in the center circle. So I did a couple of these hinge cuts on these black locusts. We'll see how well they do. Another one over there. There's another one over here. So I didn't do the entire tree, just branches or segments. The lesser of the splits. We'll see how it goes. I like it to keep living. Then hopefully the deer come and browse on it. There's a crab apple. This is really hard, tight clay. It's terrible to grow trees in. But some of them make it. And I cage them so the deer can't eat them or nothing. This is American hazelnut. There's a couple of those growing here. I think everywhere where there's a little segment of straw, I got a American hazelnut growing. So I'll have to cage some more of them. They get past the deer after a couple of years, then I start caging them. Well, we got our little swivel pipe is flowing. See, there's a flow going through there. And that pipe comes down to here. And this used to be a full swale, but then I turned it into little pieces. You can see I got a pipe underneath every one of these little bridges. What I wanted to do is segment it so that frogs or whatever laid their eggs in here, and some of the birds come down here to predate on them. Well, they don't just walk right down the swale. So it's just a little bit more of a puzzle to be able to go from one to the other. Then what I did was, this was a swale. Then I had the excavator come in and just grab a bucket full right there, so now it's got a little more edge to it. And then that bucket full of soil is what made the bridge. And every one of the bridges have tubes underneath them. And it leads to this small pond. This is the pond that's really gotten fertile, and I grow rice in it. You can see cattails. I planted a root from a lily, or a water lily, and it's growing in here. And man, this thing is just loaded with frogs, especially in the spring, but all year. I got some pawpaws on the outside of it, some aronia, some blueberries all around here. And then there's a spillway for this little pond. You can see it's running. Now this is what the spring melts. That hardly ever flows. But when we have the opportunity, oh, there's pollywogs in here already. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, they were overwintering and now they're alive. We are going to be having frogs like crazy again. I'm sure of it. That's pretty cool. So this is the very first pond I had dug. It's not really a pond, it's just a depression that fills with water, you know. And it was dug in August of 2013. And the soil from this basically came up in here, and there's a couple piles here. Where else did I put it? Oh, there's some way over there. And then some of it, we made a really long area here that we put it into. So the soil's kind of been spread around, and it's only 3 or 4 feet deep in the middle. And then of course here we got a little spillway for this pond. You can see it's flowing into this one. This is a newer pond. This is probably only 3 years old, and we got cattail growth in it. So I'm expecting this year it's really gonna start to thicken up like this over here. And what it's all about is fertility for these frogs. What the heck was that came out of there? Oh, more pollywogs, big ones. Alright, that's good news. Okay, and then we got to follow this flow. And I also got a newer one yet. This is like a 2-year-old pond. And there is a pipe here that connects them. But there really isn't much flow coming through here. It's just, water seeks a level. So when it gets into this pipe here, it's under there somewhere, it can go the other way. So it is flowing. You can see it is flowing towards this. Let's call it the middle pond. That's the first pond. This is the middle pond. This is another end pond. And this one I really went nuts with the edge. Edge is where most of the life is. So that's why we made some edge there. Oh, you can see there's a streak of kind of muddy water. So there's definitely stuff in here. Oh, look at that. There's kind of a moss growing in there. It's the first time I've seen that. Huh. And I've got Cornus pusa and aronia planted in all these little cages here. Yeah, there's a lot of moss. So there's fertility in here. This is probably the newest pond I got here, right in here. So anyways, we got to come back here. We got a pipe flowing into the middle one from this end pond, and then we've got a pipe flowing in from this pond, and this is connected to the swale, which is connected to the circle swale over there. So that water on the top is flowing all the way through here into this middle pond. And these rocks are really neat because that's where when there's a sunlight, there's actually some melting going on in the wintertime along those rocks, so it allows some oxygen to come in and out. And you can see that definitely the frogs are responding well to that. So then there's another swivel pipe, or another drain pipe here, so it's flowing through there. And this is a real shallow swale right here. Now this always dries up every year, and this middle pond gets really close to drying up. If we ever had a kind of a droughty summer, that would definitely dry up. I don't know about that middle pond. We actually kind of compacted the bottom with the excavator. So maybe that'll hold a little longer, I don't know. But this one dries up right away because it's real shallow. And then it comes into a series of little, they're beds that I had built for trees. But every one of these centers will fill up with water from the spring melt. And here's a little spillway here. It hasn't got over the top, but we've had a lot of rain and snow melt, so every one of these walkways or pathways or little swaleways are all with water right now. So it's definitely hydrating the mounds that I have trees planted on. These little flags indicate a Korean nut pine. So they're doing well. So then the overflow comes in here, comes out of here, which I've never really seen it flow much. Oh, it's flowing, you can see it. There it is. See that? Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen it flowing through the drive here. And it drops down into this lower area here. It wasn't low. This is where I got the topsoil for those mounds over here. I had them scrape off the topsoil. There's a couple of ponds there on the other side of the mounds, and this is something that I got to complete. I've got a design for this. I call it the Mollison Pond. So it's based on one of the designs he has in Permaculture Designer's Manual. But I had some rough times with money, so I kind of put it all on hold. So that's where it's going. And I'd like all that water from the circle swale to flow this way and come to this bigger pond that I'm going to have dug. And there's also a high point off in the distance here, and all of that water that's coming off that high point I want to come to this main bigger pond. And then its overflow is going to be here. I haven't got this far yet. But I don't have a connection to this, but right here we got kind of a drainage swale here. We're looking at a high point, and now it's dropping. So the water flows this way. So right now, if I stop right here, you can see the circle swales right over there, and that water's going to circle through all that structure there that I had, earthworks that I had dug there, and it's going to go to that main pond, and then that main pond, when it overflows, is going to come down this drainage swale. And this drainage swale is fairly long already. And at the end here, I got it designed just to curl down, and just kind of, the water just flows downhill from there, and it ends up down in the swamp, actually down another 100-150 yards yet, pointed in the direction of the camera. But right now it just curls off so that it's lower here, and it just drains the water off down into the lowest, I think probably the lowest part of the land is that corner over there. So it's draining out right now. But when I get this thing set up, I'm going to actually curl the whole thing around this way, and then it's going to end up down into the main pond that's in front of camp. You can see camp there. Okay, so to put this all together for you, here's the circle swale. That water is going to head off towards the south all the way to the main ponds. It's going to join the water from that other rise on the other side of the ponds, and then when it overflows, it's going to come all the way back this way towards this main pond and be water going into the main pond.